Thursday, just past 9:30, thinkingrealestate.com. Lord Dwyer Schleitke and Mark Meyer is back from Parts Unknown, actually, Colorado.
Yep. I'm here.
How was it? Tan?
It's gone. It peeled.
How was Colorado?
It was great. It was a nice trip.
A lot of real estate out there?
Expensive real estate.
Is it?
Yeah. Reminds you of Jackson, doesn't it?
Well, there was a house, an old house in this little town for $1 million in it, but it was a ski town.
Did you buy it?
No. I walked past it.
Did you? That's just as good.
They allowed me to walk.
So what would that cost here?
Honestly, about
40,
25.
20, yeah.
No.
Seriously.
Mark.
It was a nice house. It had been fixed up, but it was in town on a tiny lot, shotgun style house, long and narrow.
Teeny weeny.
Maybe 1,500 square feet. Maybe. So
there you have it.
Okay.
It's a bargain to live here.
It is. It's fun to be here.
It is fun to be here.
Yeah. We like it here.
Yeah.
That would be a good slogan.
Back in the 80s. What decade are you living in?
I live in the 70s.
Oh, got it. Got it.
So I haven't heard that slogan yet.
So what did you talk about last week? Did you miss me?
I did, but we were so consumed with our conversation with Dave Taylor talking about assessing.
Uh-huh. And did you learn anything?
Yeah, and I got a lot of good feedback from our
that.
listeners.
Yeah. A lot of calls.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And we could have easily gone into the next half hour.
Easily.
But they refuse.
Yes.
Well,
they did.
Enough is enough.
Mark Daly has his agenda all set. And he did say it.
He's so inflexible.
Careful, he might be listening.
So if people wanted to talk to us today, how would they get a hold of us?
Well, they could email you at Mark@Thinking Real Estate.
I have my computer.
Yeah. Or call 787-3397.
Yes.
I can repeat that. 787-3397.
Right. They could text as well, but
they'd have to text you.
740-2028.
Right.
I like texts.
I got a text.
I do.
I got a text question on my way to the show last week.
You did?
Uh-huh.
Did you?
Yeah, I asked it. It said, how do you appeal assessments?
Good. And you answered it?
Yes, I did. Well, I didn't. I had Dave.
Wasn't the tax tribunal this week?
Yes, it is.
It was?
Well, I think there's still a couple more days next week.
Is it? Oh, good. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm. Do you need to appeal? You don't own anything in the city.
No, I do not. Nope.
So what do you got going?
Well, I pulled some stats this morning, bright and early, because my dog got me up.
You have 2 dogs, don't you?
Yeah, but only one of them is afraid of storms.
Which one?
Roxy. So, year to date, 2012, all properties, including foreclosures, 279 units sold, with an average sold price of $77,140, compared to 2011.
Jackie's pulling out her phone to double check our statistics. You can go
2000
online and get some of these numbers too.
That's $77,140 was an average sold price. 2011, 260 units, so there were fewer units. More. And the average sold price of $61,867, so up significantly.
Yeah, I think that's
20%.
Yeah.
Plus.
That's the county?
All of Jackson County.
Wow.
Just residential. And then foreclosures, the average sold price this year, $54,497.
For a foreclosure?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's got to be up, isn't it?
All of Jackson County, up from last year, $43,646. So up again about 25%.
Yeah, I think it's leveled off. I think lenders are loosening up their financing.
Well, year to date, or
year to date, last year, same through
period.
March 15th, March 14th. I had an appraiser yesterday ask me if I thought that lenders were getting easier to deal with, because we have spoken on this show about how difficult it is, because the guidelines are so difficult, and they're making sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. And I don't think it's any easier. I just think everybody's more used to it. So I think everybody's becoming more prepared for the unknown. Don't you think so? I don't think it's gotten more difficult.
Well, I've got a couple clients who've been through bank or foreclosures, and they qualify. where we used to think it'd be 5 years. These people have only been out of, one of them's only been out of it for 3 years.
I thought that's been the case. I thought 3 years was the case.
I thought it used to be 5.
Was it? I didn't think so.
But I think the other thing you're seeing is all these people who were foreclosed on or who went through bankruptcy
are now back in the market.
Are now back in the market, and that's a big chunk of people because
Right.
it started in 2005.
Right.
So you got 2005 through 2008.
And lots of pent-up demand.
Mhm.
Lots of... I've been listening in the office to the phone calls on your rentals, and there's crazy people. I mean, not crazy people, but it's crazy busy with rentals.
Oh yeah, yeah. We just re-upped it in Craigslist, and so the phone was ringing off the hook yesterday. And Bill forwarded me a email that said rental prices are not going down.
Bill Dwyer Schlechte?
Yeah.
Mr. Dwyer Schlechte?
Yeah.
The rental prices are
Well,
not...
Right.
they never go down, do they?
Yeah, they did go down for a
Same
while when
supply
people.
and demand.
Yeah, in 2000, pre-2005, your
Really?
market rates were down because it was easy to buy a house. Then it went up when it became difficult to buy a house.
Well, right
And then
now,
went down again when everybody was buying foreclosures.
right now you can buy a house for what you're paying for rent. Less.
I've got a friend who's bidding on a house, a HUD house, and
Shouldn't that bring rent down? No?
a great neighborhood, and her payment would be $197 a month.
Oh yeah, should it bring? There's still a lot of people who don't qualify for mortgages, and they don't have money to put down on land contracts, and there's not enough sellers out there to sell on a land contract. So you have a huge market of tenant renters still. So should the prices
Are you having a hard
come
time
down?
qualifying renters?
We've changed what qualify. You adjust that, but I still have I have a process that I go through, and I'm sure that the property managers do the same thing, and most landlords probably do, I would assume.
And it's similar to
What's the big
qualifying
thing?
for a mortgage,
Just
right?
having a job? Well, I'm asking you.
Well, yeah, I require that you have 3 times the income of the rental price. So if the rent's $500,
Right.
then you got to make $1,500 a month. I have a minimum credit score that I look for, a 550. I call their references.
You look on Facebook too, don't you?
I look on Facebook. I Google their names.
Do you?
Yeah. And then, I look for, I check their bank references. I mean, if they've got NSFs, then,
That's not good.
you got a problem. So,
I'm just curious.
yeah.
So
Not curious anymore now. I answered your question, right?
Kind of.
But each landlord has their
I said
own.
job.
Well, you have to have the income.
Okay.
you
There are a
have
lot of people out there that don't have jobs that still have income.
Oh, that's, yeah.
you have
There's
more.
some.
You have more people who want to rent than you do units available too, don't you? I mean, you're
Oh,
always
yeah,
busy.
but a lot of people don't meet the minimum requirements.
So, according to USA Today, bank-owned homes and short sales were 23% of all 2011 sales, and I would say that we fall right within those
Well,
numbers.
does your statistics
No,
say
I
how
didn't
many?
do that, but we've talked about that before, and that's always. I think ours are like 20%.
Jackie?
Short sales are up to 11% this month.
Short sales.
11% for short sales. And there have been a lot of articles saying that the banks were going to put some new regulations in to make short sales go quicker.
And what have we heard about that?
Your eyes are rolling backwards.
Are they?
You're about to fall asleep.
No.
This
not,
is riveting.
not me.
Well, I'm sure it's riveting, but when you only have 2 hours of sleep, the poor guy. You can just lean back. We'll take over for
All
a
right,
while.
go ahead.
Okay.
So short sales are 11%
Year to date.
year to date
Year-to-date.
of our overall solds.
Up from 6% last month.
So clearly the banks are.
You want Jackie to be your special guest?
No.
Yeah, she could be. She's always our special
Yeah.
Right.
guest.
So the banks are clearly more interested in working on short sales rather than to take them back.
Yes,
is it-
I
or do you
believe
think
that's
it's-
true.
or do you-
However, we still have, we thought Bank of America improved their system, and now they're, how many months have we had the one on McCain? For gosh sake.
Careful, it's
I
a
said
family show.
Gosh.
Oh.
There was an SH in there.
Like I said, careful, it's a family show. Not a lot of SHs here.
And then we're finally closing on another one that's, who's that one, Jackie?
Sandstone.
Yeah,
Bank
but
of America.
Bank of America that's been, I don't know,
6 months.
6 months or so negotiating with them.
And I love the buyers. I mean, the buyers really have to understand that this is a process that it's just not easy. I've got a short sale going on one of my listings, and the buyer's agent calls me and I give them updates, and the buyers then call me themselves, and it's my listing, and I tell them, you know, the process is going to be what it is.
Right.
We have no control over it. And they want to know that they've got an accepted offer, and it's like, well, yeah, you have an accepted offer, but it means nothing, really.
Right. Well, I think the banks have gone from foreclosures to wanting to do short sales, but they don't have the staff in place to handle all the short sales, because I think most people would prefer to do a short sale. Why wouldn't you?
You mean most sellers?
Most sellers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you live there.
Mm-hmm.
And the bank wants you to live there.
The buyers like it better because the house
is in better condition.
Yep, and
doesn't
occupied.
get vandalized. Speaking of vandalizing, a couple weeks ago in the newspaper there was an article about the police had arrested some people, some guys that were hooligans that were trying to steal some stuff from a house, and they were alerted to the fact because a neighbor had called, and that's
a good thing.
That's a great thing. I would like to bring the attention that if you see something suspicious going on in your neighborhood, you ought to call the cops.
Yeah, good idea.
I had that happen on a short sale. Do you remember that?
Yes.
People moved out like on a Saturday, and we were going to close
Monday.
Yeah, that.
Sunday they went in and
took out the copper.
Yeah.
They didn't get away with it. They caught them. And the guy was stupid, so he got caught because he was stupid.
Most thieves are stupid.
But,
I would have to say.
Yeah.
That's kind of a safe assumption. Yeah. But you know, if you do see something suspicious,
call
because
I
probably something that ought not be going on.
780-3800.
Yeah, no, call 911.
911.
Yesterday I went to preview a vacant home in the city for a client, and I pulled in, and the next door neighbor immediately came out to make sure that I was actually going to show the house.
Oh, that's cool.
But then she proceeded to tell me everything that was wrong with the house.
God bless
yeah,
you.
that makes the buyer want to go there, right?
Exactly. But it was okay.
All right, so what else do you have?
Did you know that home sales contracts rose 2% in January to the highest level since April of 2010?
I had seen that somewhere. I don't know where, but I believe that.
This says, according to the National Association of Realtors, the index of sales agreements rose 2% to a reading of 97. And the last time it was a reading of 100 is considered healthy. So we're close to healthy.
Good.
That's how I feel too.
Healthy?
Close to healthy.
Yeah, okay.
So that's good news.
And I believe that. I mean, our office is pretty busy. I think we need more listings out there, more good qualified listings.
You know, I was talking to my friend Deanne, the realtor from another office, the other day, and everybody I know, all the realtors that I know are just crazy busy, and it's not just with foreclosures; it's actually real listings are starting to sell again and get activity again.
And I think we're busy though because also there are fewer realtors in the market, and the ones that are left are good realtors.
And serious.
The people who got out were the part-timers, or maybe they were time to retire. They had already worked hard in the previous economies where we had tough markets, and just didn't want to start all over again, which is kind of what this market was all about. So I think it's a good thing. It's a cleansing of our marketplace.
I agree.
And you know, our license law is toughening up too. It's going to be harder to get into real estate, and we're going to have to take more continuing education.
Well, thank God I got in 20 years ago.
Thank God.
Otherwise, I'd be in trouble. So I have a question. As home prices fall further, is it time to buy?
Well, are prices falling further? You just told us they went up.
Well, that's the question from USA Today.
Well, absolutely time to buy.
It says here that housing is one of the great investments right now. This is from the Donald.
Well,
Donald Trump.
Well, he was listening to Warren Buffett. Was it Warren Buffett that said if he could buy 20,000 homes right now, he would? I'm sure he can, quite frankly, but...
His comment was that how would he manage it?
Right.
He couldn't manage
Well,
it physically.
He could hire.
No, but he said that putting that infrastructure into place would be impossible.
Right.
And
Well,
I'm sure that's correct.
but if
You know
that's
how
where
it
the
is
Donald's
to you know
probably
how it
gonna-
is to manage what 5 or 6
Yeah.
or 8,
Tell me.
10.
But yeah, I think it's an absolute perfect time to buy. I mean, for gosh sake, the lending's getting a little easier, so you
Average-
might as well go see if you qualify.
Average.
It's not going to hurt
This
you.
is from today's USA Today. Can you tell I was on their website? Average rate on a 30-year mortgage, 3.88%. Average on a 15-year fixed, 3.13%.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Cheap, as the bird says. Cheap. So what do you have new? Any houses?
Well, let me see.
I have one.
Go for it.
Listing it today, Spring Arbor. Nice manufactured home on a crawl space, 2-car garage, 2 acres, $59,900. Built in the late 90s.
In Spring Arbor.
In Spring Arbor.
So that's Western Schools.
It is Western Schools.
Well, there you go.
Nice
Yeah.
place.
And
Big. Large.
we have a price reduction on 485 Skyline 118.
Hanover
That's a-
Schools.
Hanover Schools, and that's
Lake access to Pine Hill Lake and Farwell Lake.
and that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Master's on one side, the other 2 bedrooms are on the other side. That's kind of cool. And then, of course, 230 North Forbes keeps having slight reductions, so you can pick that one up for under $10,500 now. And then we have an open house at 4524 Leeward.
That's a great house. That's
It
got a
is.
nice swimming pool.
That's a short sale.
Where's Leeward?
Leeward is Northwest Schools.
Berry Road.
Take 106 up
Hankered
to
Hills. Have you been there? Hankered Hills?
Berry Road.
No, I have.
And then Leeward is right off of Berry Road. Nice house. 1 to 230 is that open house. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, I think. Full basement, pool,
Nice pool.
you know, nice decking around it.
So, are you? We talked a couple weeks ago about how busy it is, and it is crazy busy. And I think partially that's the weather. And today it's supposed to be 75.
Close. Yeah.
It's just, I mean, if you're sitting there thinking about listing your house, it's time.
Get it out, yeah. Call us 780-3800.
We'll see you next week.
We'll be here.
We'll be
Sorry I
here.
fell asleep.
It's okay.